What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the We Run on Coffee podcast. I'm Erica.
And I'm Marissa.
And today we're going to talk about something kind of sad, but also it's going to be a very educational episode. It's very exciting. We're going to be talking about seasonal depression today. It's a very real topic.
It is.
That we're going to get into. So I'm excited to get with it. But first, what are you drinking right now?
I'm finishing up my coffee from the last episode. So it's my caramel latte kind of thing, and then I just have water. I meant to grab one of my polars, one of my polar seltzers. I got the strawberry watermelon this time.
Ooh, but do you like it?
I do like it. I just forgot to grab it out of the fridge when I came back upstairs.
I have the polar plain lime one right now because they didn't have the ginger lime, which is my top favorite. But the plain lime's doing all right. Yeah. It's not quite the same, but it's good. But what I'm drinking is just plain water today. Oh, boring.
She's so boring
right now. Yeah. I just took the rest of my coffee like a shot, so that's gone.
That's okay.
But yeah,
it needed to be gone.
So what are you looking forward to? I'm excited because I have quite a few things.
I'm so glad that Kyle brought me back my phone. If you know, you know, from the last episode. But Erica, I'm so excited. The first thing I'm not super excited about, but we're getting Kyle a new phone today, and that means I might get a new phone. So we'll see what's going to happen.
That's fun.
And then Kyle's going golfing later today, so I might just get ahead and edit the podcast already, or I might read my book. And a book that I pre-ordered in March just got delivered to my Kindle.
Ooh.
And I started another book right before that, but I'm only 2 or 3 chapters in, so I think I might pause that one and move to this book that I've been reading.
Is that the other Laura Dave one? I saw on your Goodreads that you started the one. Yeah.
And so it's really funny. It's not a mystery at all. It's more of a romance, which I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I might have to look into that.
Yeah, but it's good so far. I mean, I'm 3 chapters in, so I don't really have a whole lot. But the thing I'm most excited about is I'm getting a tattoo on Thursday.
Wait, oh my God. Okay, I was waiting to tell you that I knew this already. And the
it's
reason
in my
I
calendar.
knew that, no, actually, this is so random. I opened Venmo to request Angelo, and the first thing that pops up is Marissa Carpenter paid a tattoo deposit. And I was like, no way, she's getting a new tattoo.
I am.
And then it eliminated from my mind. I forgot.
Do you want to see it?
Yes. Oh my God. Ooh, wait, that's so cute. What is it just says the price. I was like, what are the letters? That's adorable. I think my sister would love that.
Isn't it so cute?
My sister apparently is very into mushrooms right now and that kind of cutesy little style. And I was like, oh, she will like that. That's adorable.
I think it's so cute. I'm going to get it right here, right below my elbow.
That's cute. Wait, I can't wait to see it. Are you okay if we post that screenshot?
Yeah, I mean,
for everybody.
By the time that this comes out, I'll have it on my body too, so you can just take a photo of both.
Yes, send me both. That's so cute. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
I'm so excited, but that's on Thursday.
So wow, that came up. That's quick.
Well, I just scheduled it yesterday or 2 days ago. But I'm getting that on Thursday, and then I have volleyball that day, and that. Oh, before we record next, I'm also going to the Post Malone concert.
I know that's coming up fast too. Holy crap.
It's coming up so fast. So I'll be going to Post Malone, and then the day after that, I have planned to go to a fall market around this area with a couple of friends, and then we get to record next, and I'm really excited.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Great stuff. I also have a concert tomorrow.
Literally
tomorrow. It's Sabrina Carpenter, and I have an announcement about this that I'm excited about. So I got this email a little while ago that was add the Sabrina Pass to your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet or whatever, and then all your stuff will just be on one QR and you can scan it inside the building. I'm like, I don't really get it, but sure, I'll do it, because it says if you add this pass, you have the chance to win a ticket upgrade. So I did it, and then 2 days ago, I got an email that I won the ticket upgrade. I'm shitting myself. It's a raffle or something. And it just emails me, and it was you've been upgraded for the short and sweet tour by Sabrina Carpenter. I was like, what does this mean? So I read the email, and I'm freaking out. We paid $100 a piece for our tickets, and they're really bad. They're in almost the worst section, the 200 section of the Nationwide Arena. And this email was just come to the box office with your ID and show it, and we will give you your new upgraded tickets. So I have no idea what it is. I don't know where we're sitting. I told everybody when you win a contest like that, a competition for tickets, I usually it's the floor, right? Usually it's going to be something really good.
What if you get meet and greet tickets?
That's what Angelo said. I will crap my pants. I don't know what I'm going to do. He's like, what are you going to say if you meet her? What if it's meet and greet? I was like, I don't know. I'll probably tell her I saw her at the Ohio State Fair in 2015. What?
That's so funny.
What? So I don't know what's going to happen, but that's the update about Sabrina. We're going to get upgrade.
Are you going with Angelo?
Yeah, Angelo, Grace, and Lauren.
All 4 of you?
Yeah, the 4 of us, and all 4 of us got upgraded.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm freaking out. And we got the upgrade on Lauren's birthday, so I got to text her in the morning and be like, "Happy birthday!" And she was like freaking out.
That's
they were
so
both
nice.
I think Vernita might be most excited about this upgrade. Like, we're hype. But I'm like, how awesome is it that we paid $100 and they were like, not that great of tickets, and we were like, it is what it is. We just want to see her, and now we got a freaking upgrade.
That's so cool.
So,
I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see like what it is. I hope. Don't take away from like the experience, but like text me what happens tomorrow.
I will be. I'm freaking out. So I'll let you guys know. And it's a Monday night, which is weird. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm
very
just
odd day for a concert.
I got so unlike me, but I bought an outfit for this, and it's a mini skirt.
Oh,
so I'll send pics. It's from Amazon. It has shorts under.
Is it a pink mini skirt?
It's baby blue.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna get a baby blue hair bow. I'm really going full like Sabrina, core, if you will. So that'll be cute.
I'm so excited to see.
So I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, that's my biggest one. I have my face x-ray this week. So if you know, you know. I'm not even going to get into it.
That's so funny.
We'll see what happens. I still can smell. I thought I could smell better, but I think it's going in and out. I don't know. This Friday, we're going to go surprise little K at his football game.
Oh.
I had this idea because what made me think of this? There was something that happened that I was like, oh, we should just go to one of the games. I think Aunt Diane couldn't come to the virtual family game night because she was going to Caden's football game. And then I thought that'd be fun if we all just went to a football game. Also, Friday night football is really fun. Like a high school football game is just exciting. So she told us that Nat, Caden, and Murphy are going to go to this one. And I had no clue. So me and Angela are going to go to the game and then drive to my parents after and get to my parents at like midnight. And then spend the weekend at my parents the next weekend. So
it'll be a lot, but it'll be really fun.
It'll be worth. And then before we record next, I will be going to the Tom Segura comedy show, which is Angelo's pick. But that will be fun. And then the last thing I have is that we have a guest episode coming up. So
I know.
Stay tuned.
That's why I was just looking at my watch because the emails just went out to Taylor.
Oh, did it really?
Oh, wait. Maybe we don't want to say who it is.
It's okay. I mean, nobody really might know, but it's one of our friends. Whose friend is it?
I know. You know her name now, but who is she?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just got the email too. So that's really exciting. I can't wait for you guys to meet Taylor. It will be really cool. And yeah, stay tuned for that. So let's dive in.
I'm ready.
Okay, so you guys, I was just saying, like, I'm going to try to not make this so long, but we'll see. So we're just going to go ahead and start. We're talking about seasonal depression today, also known as SAD, which stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder. And I want to give you all first my resources. So I have 3 resources for this. One is Mayo Clinic. Classic for us. Seasonal, the article or the page is called Seasonal Affective Disorder, SAD. That's going to be linked in the description. And then also the NIH, National Institute of Health. And this is specifically from the National Institute of Mental Health. And their page is just called Seasonal Affective Disorder. I'll have the link. And the third place, which I did not use very much at all, but it's just the health information on Google. Like if you Google it, something, it comes up like, oh, here's all the quick facts about it. And they pull that information from Mayo Clinic and other places. So, or Mayo. I don't know what we're saying. I call it Mayo Clinic.
I think it's Mayo, but
really?
I don't know.
Okay. Mayo/Mayo
yeah.
Clinic. So those are my 3 like main sources, and we're just going to get into it. Everything's pretty much verbatim from them. So if you think I'm plagiarizing, it's because I'm quoting, not plagiarizing.
Yes.
If you run me through AI, it's going to come back. But anyways, we're going to start with, well, first of all, the reason I want to talk about this is because it's October at this point when you guys are listening to this. And some of us, which is myself very, very much included, may be feeling the effects of seasonal affective disorder or SAD. So I just wanted to talk about that. So we're just going to start out with the basic, what is SAD? What is SAD? It's so funny to call it SAD because
I think that's horrible. They couldn't thought of like anything else.
So yeah, seasonal affective disorder or SAD is a type of depression that's related to the changes in the seasons. So seasonal affective disorder begins and ends at around the same times every year. That's kind of like how you can notice it. If you're like most people with SAD, your symptoms start in the fall and then they continue in the winter months, sapping up your energy, making you feel kind of moody, and the symptoms often resolve during the spring and summer months, but less often than that. But it's also possible SAD can cause depression in the spring or early summer and resolves during the fall or winter months, which me and Marissa have talked about that before. She was like, I feel like I have reverse seasonal depression, which is a thing.
Well, I feel like it might not be like for real. Like I don't, I don't feel it like to like the total like
extreme.
Yeah, an extreme deal. But it's like, I do feel a sense of longing for it to be fall. And like, I feel sad that it's not fall. So
yeah, no, I think that makes sense. And yeah, that's totally possible. So the quick facts, like I said, these are just from the Google Health, but I like these little quick facts. So they mark this as a very common occurrence. So more than 3 million cases per year. It's treatable by a medical professional. They call it medium term. So that's just like it resolves within a couple months. That makes sense to what it is. Usually self-diagnosable, and lab tests or imaging not required. So those are just the quick facts. It all tracks. So the symptoms of SAD's where I want to start. So this is like symptoms, how you might know that you're experiencing this. So again, from Mayo or Mayo Clinic, in most cases, seasonal affective disorder symptoms appear during late fall or early winter, and then they go away in the sunnier days of spring and summer. And like I said, less commonly, it can be the opposite of that. So in either case, though, symptoms may start out mild and become more severe as the season progresses and you get like deeper into that time of year. So signs and symptoms of SAD may include feeling listless, sad, or down most of the day, almost every day. Losing interest in activities that you once enjoyed, of course, having low energy, feeling sluggish, problems with oversleeping, so hypersomnia, which I think that's a big one for people, experiencing carb cravings, overeating, or weight gain.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which kind of, I feel like that kind of makes me think of Thanksgiving, just like having that, just eating like rolls and potatoes and like all the time. Having difficulty concentrating, feeling hopeless, worthless, or guilty. I should have started with a trigger warning for suicide, but having thoughts of not wanting to live. And then, that was it. And then there are some symptoms that are specific to winter onset SAD or summer onset SAD. That is what they call the differentiating.
Oh, that's
thing.
cool.
So, yeah, it's like, I don't know, they kind of have pieces of both, which I think is really helpful so that you can like see both that and how they differ.
Yeah.
So the symptoms for winter onset SAD that are more specific to winter onset, sometimes just called winter depression, include the oversleeping, like I said, hypersomnia, appetite changes, especially a craving for foods high in carbs, like I said above, weight gain, tiredness or low energy. And then for spring and summer SAD or summer onset SAD, summer depression, lots of names, that would be trouble sleeping. So insomnia, kind of the opposite. You got wide eyes to experience that.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's more
crazy.
Specific. The poor appetite, weight loss, agitation or anxiety, increased irritability, and seasonal changes or bipolar disorder. So almost the opposite of what I read.
Yeah, that's
the winter
insane
onset.
That it's like completely the opposite of it.
Yeah. And we'll get into a little bit more of why that is. But those are just like, if you're experiencing those symptoms, like maybe consider this. People who, I just wanted to note this, people who have bipolar disorder are at an increased risk of seasonal affective disorder. Not defective. You're not defective.
Not defective.
That sounds like a horrible way to put it. In some people with bipolar disorder, episodes of mania may be linked to a specific season. So for example, like spring and summer could bring on symptoms of mania or a less intense form of mania, hypomania, anxiety, agitation, and irritability. So they may also experience depression during the winter and fall months. So that can kind of play into each other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there's also an important note from the NIH site that winter pattern SAD should not be confused with holiday blues. So feelings of sadness or anxiety brought on by stresses at certain times of year. So the depression associated with SAD is related to changes in daylight hours, not the calendar. So we'll get more into this, but stresses associated with holiday or predictable seasonal changes in like work and school scheduling, family visits, and so forth are not the same as SAD.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the causes and that will make more sense, but it's important to call out. I definitely do have the holiday situation. Like I get really anxious at the holidays for many reasons. That is for another day, but it's important to distinct.
That is so interesting because I feel the exact opposite. Like, of course I get like the holiday stress and everything, but like I look so forward to like I look so forward to like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Yeah. And I would say like I love all of those holidays more than I like being in the sun, which is crazy. 'Cause I love being outdoors. I would just prefer to do it when it's cooler outside.
When it's not hot. Yeah. And I feel the opposite. I hate the holiday season. I've always said
That's
that.
So
it sounds horrible. It sounds bah humbug, but it is what it is. I hate the holidays. They make me feel a type of way that I cannot describe. Maybe I can describe it with this episode, but it's horrible to me. So yeah, we're going to dive into the causes of SAD, and I think that will give a little more color to what I just said. So again, we're going to keep going from NIH. Researchers are still determining what causes SAD. That's like the number one sentence on every site that I've read. So that's important to keep in mind that research is still happening and this is not completely definitive. So most research up to this point has investigated potential causes of winter pattern SAD because it's the most common and it's easier to study. So as a result, there is even less known about the summer onset SAD. So, studies indicate that people with SAD, especially the winter pattern SAD, have reduced levels of the brain chemical serotonin. That helps regulate mood. So research also suggests that sunlight affects levels of molecules that help maintain your normal serotonin levels. So shorter daylight hours may prevent these molecules from functioning properly and contributing to decreased serotonin levels in the winter, which is what I was saying above or before about it being more related to hours in the day, sunlight in the day versus like holidays themselves or schedule changes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like the next point that you're going to bring up is the thing that I've heard most. And I think that is one of those things that
100%.
Like helps like keep serotonin in your body.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. So vitamin D deficiency, which is the number one thing that I feel like I hear. And that's what I thought the only reason for SAD was. I've never heard of the other two, to be honest, or the other ones.
Yeah.
But vitamin D deficiency is like, I feel like the most common one I've heard about, which correlates. So it may exacerbate the problems in people with winter onset SAD because vitamin D is believed to promote serotonin activity. So in addition to vitamin D consumed in food, right, the body produces vitamin D when exposed to sunlight on the skin. And I think that's the most common thing people think of when they think of winter SAD because you're seeing the sun a lot less, especially you're spending less time outside because it's miserable outside at times. Cold, not miserable for everyone, just for me.
That's okay.
So
not
with
just
less
for
daylight,
you. Obviously, winter onset SAD is like the highest form.
People
of
like
this.
me.
I'm the minority.
Angela gets joy. Angela gets joy to go out in the winter. Like seriously, like a kid in a candy store. So I get that.
That's how me and Kyle are too. I think like the three of us are the minority. You obviously,
honestly,
like the research shows that you are the majority.
Only the minority of my own family. So weird though. But yeah, so with less daylight in winter, people with SAD have lowered vitamin D levels. Just kind of makes sense, which further reduces that serotonin activity. And I have had a vitamin D deficiency in the past personally when I've gotten tested. In years past, I got tested at Christmas time because I was in the hospital sick and they were like, you are seriously deficient in vitamin D. You need to take some sort of supplement. So I feel like that tracks. Yeah. That makes sense.
The funny thing is that I've also been vitamin D deficient, but I don't experience this in the winter.
Right. That is so crazy. Maybe you're just like so used to being vitamin D deficient. You don't even know the difference.
I don't know. My mom is like, she was at one point severely vitamin D deficient and I was just like borderline deficient. So I don't know.
Interesting. So this other thing that is, we're still within the causes, is other studies have suggested that both forms, winter and summer onset SAD, relate to altered levels of melatonin. So a hormone important for maintaining the normal sleeping and waking cycle. So that kind of tracks back to what I was saying. Winter onset, you might have hypersomnia, you're sleeping too much. Summer onset, you might have insomnia, like Marissa was experiencing, where you cannot sleep as well. So people with winter pattern SAD are producing too much melatonin, which can increase your sleepiness, leading to that hypersomnia. And in contrast, summer pattern SAD, exact opposite. They may have reduced melatonin levels consistent with long, hot days, which worsens your sleep quality and leads to depressive symptoms. Oh my gosh, you're smiling so much. I'm like, so she feels funny. This so hard. Longer daylight hours and shorter nights and high temperatures can all kind of work together and cause disruptions in your sleep. However, it states that these theories have not been systematically tested. So there's just not a lot of research on it, all of it, to be honest, but it does track.
This is going to sound crazy. So I think that this is the issue. The days are longer, so I feel like I need to be more productive, which makes me feel like a sense of like not like it. Like I don't accomplish, like if I don't accomplish everything like during those hours, then like I failed. That is like what leads to me thinking like, well, like there's more hours in the day, like time. I need to be more productive in these hours. If I'm not capitalizing on my productivity, then I'm not doing great. And then I can't sleep at night because I'm thinking about what I should have done
all
instead.
The stuff. Oh yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that's actually kind of funny because I think I feel that way in the winter because of SAD in a way. So it's like, because I'm experiencing all these symptoms that I don't normally experience, like, I mean, I hate sleeping. First of all, I don't even like sleeping. That's like my least favorite thing to do. I'm not a nap girly. Me neither. I'm like, sleeping's just something you have to do. And then I'd like to be awake. Like, I hate it. So in the winter, when I do feel like I sleep a little bit longer at night, it's not napping or anything like that. But when I'm like, I'm oversleeping, I'm missing my alarm, I'm not getting up in time for work, then I have to work later. And I'm just feeling so drained and so sad that I'm like, I didn't do anything productive today. Like, all I did today was work because I feel so depressed. And I think I also feel that at night, I'm like, I didn't freaking do anything. Worth anything. Yeah. So I think that a lot of people feel that way though. I hate, like, it's like the toxic work culture, but at the same time, like, we're both productive people that like to be productive. So it makes it hard to balance.
Yeah, but then it's like I'm persecuting myself for not increasing my productivity when I feel like I should be, and then that's what makes me sad. Yeah,
I always feel too, like, Angela's really good about being an encouraging partner. Thanks, Angela, listening. But whenever I'm on my period, I just feel like I never do as much as when I'm not, and I'm like, I feel like shit, like I did nothing today. And Angela's like, you know, your body did so much today, right? Yeah. Like, you didn't do nothing. Like, your body's doing work. It makes sense that you're tired. That's taking extra energy from you that you would normally have, and you didn't do nothing. Like, you have to stop saying that, which I'm like, that's a good thing to remember. So I have to say here, if you guys are hard on yourself, quit. Yeah. Stop.
It's so hard though.
It is. It's hard not to. And it's nice to have that external voice saying it. Like when Angela says that to me. So hopefully you all have someone in your life that can be your external voice.
Yeah.
And like, if not, you have us, because dude, it's hard enough just to live, like, and be a regular human. It's like, we have to deal with a lot.
Yeah. Like I said in the last episode, like, I was trying out new period products, so I'm obviously like on my period right now. So I feel like
we're synced up across the country.
I feel like it's like the same thing. Like I worked a different work schedule this week. I was working 4 10-hour shifts. That's extra hard on my body. But I also started my period. I didn't go to the gym like at all this week, and I felt bad about myself. But like, I still worked hard.
Yes,
it's just a really hard cycle to break. And I think that it is, honestly, as like women that see ourselves as productive and we see ourselves as successful, we have there's something that we have to live up to and keep that productivity. We have like
almost a perfectionist quality about us.
And
that's like, you have to do this.
Keep that success. And as soon as we think that we've lost that success, then we are really hard on ourselves. And I think that this is completely besides the point of this episode, but I think that to bring it back, like, if I lose that productivity in the summer, that's what makes me feel really sad, because I know that it's a more productive time of year for most people. And in the winter, I think that that's when it gets to you, is you're like, I'm already being a little less productive, and then this one more thing like adds on to my productivity.
Lessening. I'm like, great, now I'm nothing.
Yes. And I think that, like, even though it's happening to us opposite times of the year, it's the same feelings.
100%. Yeah, we're with you guys. I like that we have kind of opposite ends too, though, so that we can talk about both, because I wouldn't know anything about feeling that way in the summer. In the summer, so when I first met Vernita, Angela's sister, she was after just a year, she's like, there's summer Erica and there's winter Erica, and they're different girls. And I'm like, that is kind of sad, but also like, I see it. I totally see it. So it's cool to see both, because I would never understand having a summer depression versus a winter one.
And it might just be something that, like, it's unfortunate that you might not be able to change it, but it's something that you can learn to live with.
100%. And also, it's like, you can adjust, which we'll talk about, a lot of parts of your life to kind of help ease the pain, ease the burden a little bit. But okay, so going back to the sleep situation and the serotonin melatonin of it all, because this is just a little point that serotonin and melatonin help maintain your body's daily rhythm that's tied to that seasonal, like, night to day cycle. So in people with SAD, changes in serotonin and melatonin are disrupting those normal daily rhythmic situations, and as a result they can no longer adjust to the seasonal changes in a day length, leading to sleep, mood, and behavioral changes. I think that all makes sense. It's like, we're dealing with different kinds of day and night. Even me and Marissa have different hours of daylight because we live at different parts of the country, and so just having to adjust to that new cycle, I think, is a lot, especially when it kind of hits you all at once. You're like, oh shit, I didn't realize, like, all of a sudden I'm really depressed, I don't know what happened. It's like, dude, you're sleeping differently, the days are changing, you're not getting the same energy levels you once had.
Yeah, and I agree that even like here, it's been different. Like maybe I don't necessarily enjoy the like colder months as much because it does get darker here earlier, being all the way on the East Coast. We at 4:30 p.m. in the winter, it starts like the sun starts setting or the sun is down, and that's like a whole hour earlier than it is in Ohio. So it's really different, and we also don't get snow, which is something that I really like enjoy with the winter months. So like not being able to have that like is a little bit saddening.
Yeah, I hear that. That's really sad because that's a lot of people's favorite part is the pretty snow. It's like beautiful. So negative thoughts and feelings about winter or summer and its associated limitations and stresses are common among people with SAD as well as other people, it says. It's unclear, though, whether those thoughts are causes or effects of the mood disorder, but they can be a useful focus in treating the issue. So we're going to talk for like 2 seconds about how SAD is actually diagnosed. So again, continuing, these are still from NIH. To be diagnosed with SAD, a person must meet the following criteria, kind of standard. So they have the symptoms of depression or the more specific symptoms of winter or summer onset SAD, which we listed above or before. I keep saying above, but you guys aren't looking at my paper. Their depressive episodes occur during specific seasons, winter or summer, for at least 2 consecutive years. Not all people with SAD, though, experience symptoms every year, which I thought that was an interesting point. I don't relate to that, but that's interesting to know. And then the third criteria is that their depressive episodes during the specific season are more frequent than depressive episodes experienced outside of that season or at other times of year. So for me, this is kind of like, I don't know, it kind of hits me like an anvil. If anyone knows what an anvil even is anymore, I don't know. But for the remainder of the year, don't really experience a lot of depression at all. I do experience anxiety to some extent, but I would say nothing more than a regular, I don't know, there's no regular person, right? But I don't experience depression pretty much ever. But in the winter, my therapist, she's like, let's double up on sessions, like 2 a month instead of 1, because she knows, she's like, it's going to get rough here for a minute. And that's, I think it's interesting that some people don't experience it every time. So I don't know. That's kind of cool. Maybe depending on what goes on in your life, that could change it. I didn't really look into that. But that's that. And I want to talk about risk factors. So Mayo Clinic was saying that seasonal affective disorder is diagnosed more often in women than in men, which I thought was interesting. Doesn't mean we have it more, it's just diagnosed more. And SAD occurs more frequently in younger adults than older adults. Again, don't know if that's because that's where it occurs or that's how it's diagnosed and reported. But factors that could actually increase your risk of SAD include family history. So people with SAD may be more likely to have blood relatives with SAD or other forms of depression, which that kind of tracks. Having a major depression or bipolar disorder. So symptoms of depression may worsen seasonally. So if you already experience depression, you may experience it worse in different seasons. Living far from the equator. This one just kind of made me giggle, but SAD appears to be more common in people who live really far north or really far south of the equator, which may be due to the decreased sunlight during the winter and longer days in the summer, like we talked about. Lower levels of vitamin D. Again, like we said, if you are already vitamin D deficient, you may be experiencing this. So vitamin D is produced in the skin when it's exposed to sunlight, and it can help you boost serotonin, like we said. So less sunlight, not getting enough vitamin D from foods, other sources, this may result in low vitamin D, which may result in you feeling a little bit down. So that's what we're talking about for risk factors.
I think it's interesting too, because like you and I both don't consume dairy. Well, like you consume a little bit more dairy than I do. So you get more vitamin D through foods than I do. So I wonder if that is like another thing that could affect. Yeah,
that's a big thing.
Like
I thought
the difference between us.
Yeah, because I cut out dairy for a long time while I was like experimenting with the whole lactose intolerant thing. And I just recently started drinking whole milk again, which is a really weird transition. And I told Angela something the other day that I thought I would never say, but I ate a bowl of cereal with whole milk and I was like, wow, there's just something about real milk. It tastes kind of good. And I don't even normally like milk, but I was like, But yeah, I thought about that as well. And so I was like, maybe if I start tying in that real dairy aspect again, maybe that's going to help me in the long run.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, might do something. So we're going to talk about treatments. This is the last section. And of course, at the end, we're going to get to some resources. So if you feel like you're in need of immediate help or long-term help, we're going to get into where you guys can go.
Yeah.
But treatments. So from the NIH, again, treatments are available to help people with SAD. thank goodness treatments are available. It's funny that they put it like that, but they fall into 4 main categories that can be used alone or in combination with each other, which is really cool. So the first one's light therapy. So I've heard about this for people with winter pattern SAD. Now, all of these are there's 2 for winter pattern SAD, and then there's 2 for summer pattern SAD. Okay, I said that, but there's 2 for winter pattern SAD, and then there's 2 that can work for winter and summer. Okay. There's nothing specifically for summer pattern SAD by itself. And again, I think that's because there's not a lot of research on summer pattern SAD specifically, but 2 of them are proven to help with that. So anyway, we'll start with light therapy. This is specifically for winter pattern SAD. So since the 1980s, light therapy has been a mainstay for treating winter pattern SAD, which I think is really wild that it dates back to the 80s. I'm kind of even impressed by that, but it aims to expose people with SAD to a bright light to make up for the diminished natural sunlight that you're not getting from, being in the darker months. And I think not only that it's darker outside, I really do think it also is the fact that you're not going outside as much. In the winter, I'm outside way less than I am in the summer personally. So I feel like that might be an effect as well. On that. But for this treatment, someone would sit in front of a really bright light box. So this says 10,000 lux. Is LUX lumens? Because I don't think it is.
I don't
Hold
think
on.
so.
Sorry, guys.
That is interesting.
I thought it would have been lumens, but
yeah, I've never seen that denomination of light measurement.
Either. A unit of illumination equal to the direct illumination on a surface that is everywhere 1 meter from a uniform point source of 1 candle intensity or equal to 1 lumen per square meter. Okay. I'm so sorry for that form of measurement, you guys, but that's what it's in. That's what it's in. Okay. So they sit in front of a very bright light box, 10,000 lux is what we're going to call that, every day for 30 to 45 minutes. Usually you should do it first thing in the morning, from fall to spring season. So the light box, which is about 20 times brighter than ordinary indoor lighting that you have, your light bulbs, it filters out the potentially damaging UV light to make it marked as a safe treatment. But people with certain eye diseases or people taking certain medications that increase sensitivity due to sunlight may need to use an alternative treatment or use light therapy under medical supervision. So this isn't something that I would say just go buy a light box if you're feeling down. Definitely consult someone first, but this is something that Julie recommended to me last year. I haven't actually tried it, but I think she did buy one. So I'll have to ask her if she ever tried using that because I'm interested in what that could do. It's an interesting idea to try. So also for winter pattern SAD, continuing on that, psychotherapy or talk therapy, counseling is a big one for helping people with SAD. And they this is what NIH says, is that by teaching people new ways of thinking and behaving and changing habits that continue to contribute to depression. So that's kind of what they're aiming with. So the first one is cognitive behavioral therapy, which I feel like we might have talked about this in a past episode. I forget.
I think so.
I don't remember what episode, but briefly, it's a type of psychotherapy aimed at helping people to learn to challenge and change unhelpful thoughts and behaviors to improve their depressive and anxious feelings. And CBT has been adapted for people with SAD, which is known as CBT-SAD or CBT SAD, which is kind of funny. But CBT SAD specifically is typically conducted in 2 weekly group sessions for 6 weeks that focus on replacing your negative thoughts related to a season, such as the darkness of winter or the heat of summer, with positive ones. So CBT SAD also uses a process called behavioral activation, which helps people identify and schedule pleasant, engaging indoor and outdoor activities to kind of offset the loss of interest that they typically experience. So oh my God, I'm so uninterested in winter. It would work to set up some activities that bring me a little piece of joy so that I can kind of forget about that for a minute. And when researchers directly compared CBT SAD with light therapy, so that has been done, both treatments were proven to be equally effective in improving SAD symptoms, although some symptoms got better a little bit faster with the light therapy than with CBT. CBT took a little bit longer, but a long-term study also showed that SAD patients, it followed SAD patients for 2 winters and found that the positive effects of CBT seemed to outlast the ones of light therapy. So light therapy seemed like a little bit more of a quick fix. Yeah. And CBT took longer to work, but also lasted longer in the long run. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are the two winter specific. The next treatment is antidepressants, which we're going to talk about, antidepressant medication. And this is including both winter and summer patterned SAD. So this is for both. And so it talks about that medications used to treat depression or antidepressants can be effective for SAD when they're used alone or in combination with talk therapy, which we just talked about. And antidepressants work by changing how your brain produces or uses certain chemicals involved in mood or stress. So there's a couple points here that I wanted to include, which are first, that antidepressants take time to get going, just like we talked about, like the CBT might take a little bit longer at the beginning. So it says that antidepressants, they usually recommend 4 to 8 weeks is how long it takes for them to start working. So problems with your sleep, appetite, and concentration will often improve before your mood feels better. So it's like you kind of are going one symptom at a time in a way. So it's important to give your medication a chance to work before deciding whether it's right for you. So this is, of course, we're not doctors. So none of these are things I think that you should just go do. Not one of them. But if you talk to your doctor and you just start medication and you feel like it's not working, see if you gave it that 4 to 8 week window or not. And it also talks about trying several medications before finding the one that works best for you. I think that's a common thing that we always bring up, but it's important to mention every single time that everybody is different. And everybody reacts different. And I'm saying everybody, but also everybody reacts different to certain medications. So it doesn't always work on the first run. But because SAD, like other types of depression, is associated with disturbances in that serotonin activity that we've been talking about, antidepressant medications called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
SSRIs.
Okay,
I've probably heard SSRIs.
Yeah, I have. So it says that those are sometimes used to treat the symptoms instead. So those medications can significantly enhance a person's mood overall.
Basically, what that means...
I've never heard that listed out, actually.
What it basically means is that it makes it easier for the body to grab serotonin and put it into your body.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that tracks. So, okay, interesting. And like I said, we're not doctors, you guys. We might know a lot, especially Marissa, but on these kind of things, but we're also not doctors. So don't just go taking medications. Okay. Seriously. But the FDA, so the US Food and Drug Administration, they approved the antidepressant. Tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, or do you want to pronounce it? You probably know.
Bupropion.
Thank you. I'm not even going to be able to say it. Whatever. It is an extended release form designed to last longer in your body. So for many people, this can prevent the recurrence of seasonal depression or seasonal depressive episodes when it's taken daily from the fall to the spring. And so I think a lot of these treatments and medications are not year round. Like you take it while you're experiencing the symptoms and then you kind of wean off once you get to the end.
Yeah.
And again, all medications can have side effects. I would say all medications probably do have some kind of side effect, but talk to a healthcare provider before you start or stop anything, please. I'm begging you.
If you've ever heard of Wellbutrin, that is another name for bupropion.
Yes. Oh, okay. I have heard of that. Okay. Thank you for that. Like a common name almost.
Yeah, it is like it's like the brand name.
Oh,
bupropion is the drug name, while Wellbutrin is the brand name.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so that's a little bit on antidepressants. We're not getting super into it, but an overview, if you will. And the last one's vitamin D, which big topic we've talked about today, but depression in general and winter and summer pattern SAD could benefit from extra vitamin D, or maybe not extra, but just getting your balance to where it should be. But because many people with winter pattern SAD have that vitamin D deficiency, vitamin D supplements could help improve the symptoms. So it's also important to note that studies testing vitamin D as a treatment for SAD, though, have had mixed results. So with some studies, they indicated that it's an effective tool, just as effective as light therapy, and other studies found there were no effects at all with vitamin D. I did have a vitamin D supplement for a long time when I was deficient, and I felt nothing changed when I was on it. I don't feel like my mood changed at all. Maybe it was bringing my balance to where, or my levels to where they should be, and that's good and still whatever, but I didn't notice a mood effect. So yeah, I don't know. It's something interesting. And again, there are no treatments yet that are specific to summer pattern SAD only. And I do believe that's probably due to the lack of research.
Yeah. I put a thumbs down. SAD.
I know. We need video so you guys can see us. But that kind of wraps it up. We're just going to now go through. I want to go through these resources. I think this is like really important to have in the episode. So this is going to be, where to get immediate help. So These are going to be more like phone numbers, crisis lines, that kind of thing. So bear with us if you don't need them, but it's also, I think, good to learn if you ever need to help somebody else. So in life-threatening situations, call 911, go to the nearest emergency room. We're talking US here for all of this, so just keep that in mind. If you're listening internationally, you need to Google or look up your local numbers, but for the US, so 911 or the nearest emergency room, we pretty much know that. But if you are suicidal or in emotional distress, consider using the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can actually call or text the 988 number, or you can actually chat live online at 988lifeline.org, which is really cool. This lifeline is 24 hours and it's confidential, and it supports anyone in suicidal crisis or emotional distress. And you can actually reach a specialized LGBTQIA plus affirming counselor if you actually text the letter Q to 988, which is really cool. Or if you want to do phone call, it's 988 and then press 3. That's how you're going to get the LGBTQIA plus affirming counselor. So I thought that was really cool. Also with the 988, which this I didn't know about, and I was able to I was able to teach this to Angela, which is really cool for veterans in need. So if you're a veteran, you can use the veteran crisis line. So again, you call 988 and you press 1. So you can also text 838-255, or again, chat online. So that would be veteranscrisisline.net/get-help-now/chat. Sorry, that's a long one, you guys, but this veteran-specific crisis line is a 24-hour confidential resource, and it connects veterans with a trained responder. So the service is available to all veterans and those who support them, so family of veterans. And even if you're not registered with the VA or enrolled in VA healthcare, it doesn't matter. You just call this line and they're going to help you out. Yeah. So that was really cool. I didn't know about that. So 988 sounds like has a lot of different extensions for people in need. So
which is nice that you can even do the extensions like by text.
I know. I didn't realize you could do that. Just text 988. Like, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And again, confidential. So you don't even have to worry about that. If you've ever experienced a disaster, consider using the disaster distress helpline. So this is, again, call or text 1-800-985-5990. And what the disaster distress helpline provides is immediate crisis counseling for people experiencing emotional distress related to any natural or human caused disaster, 24 hours, confidential, and it offers interpretation services in more than 100 languages.
That's
which I think
a lot.
is really cool. So it sounds like if you're international, it might be okay to go ahead and give that one a call.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So how to find a healthcare provider or treatment. So I wanted to get into this really quick. Those were all of the where to get immediate help. So if you're in an emergency situation, please reach out to one of those numbers there. And then this is just going to be how to find care, like a regular healthcare provider. So treatment for mental illness usually includes therapy, virtual or in person, medication, or a combination of both. So you can use your insurance. So if you have health insurance, you can search for a provider, do online research, check out online therapy platforms like Talkspace, which is actually something that I've used before. And again, all of those numbers I listed and Talkspace and all these things I'm mentioning, you guys, they're going to be at the top of our description, right under like where we write, this is what the episode's about. All these links will be there. So please check them out. If you're looking for a primary care provider, which they can perform an initial mental health screening and refer you to mental health professionals like a social worker, psychologist, psychiatrist. If you have an appointment with a primary care provider, you can bring up those mental health concerns, ask them for help, and they can guide you on where to go. So again, there's going to be a link in our description, which will help you with finding primary care. Okay. Federal resources. Some federal agencies offer resources for identifying mental health professionals. These are the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, so SAMHSA, and that's a helpline and online locator for mental health services, which is really nice. Like the whole map situation, put in where you live, find someone near you. There's the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, again, an online tool for finding Medicare providers if you have Medicare. And finally, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, or the VA, online tool for finding VA locations and providers. So thank you for bearing with me, you guys. I know this is a lot, but somebody might need it, and that's important. So
it's important to share everything so that everybody can see what they have
Find
available.
What you need. Yeah, find what you need. The national organizations, many advocacy and professional orgs have online tools for finding providers as well. So link in the description, you'll be able to view a list of organizations that offer directories or locators for finding those professionals. Okay. State and county agencies. So your state or county government website may also have information about health services in your area. So your local health services department website would be a good place to start. So you can just Google, like, if you live in Columbus, Ohio, like I do, you could do Columbus Health Services Department and just go from there. Insurance companies. Again, if you have health insurance, a representative of your insurance company will definitely know like what providers are covered and what are not. So you could just call them directly if you're like me and you hate a phone call. I get you. I hear you. And you can usually just look it up on your insurance website online. Last two, universities and colleges. If you're listening to this and you're in college, you're a student and you're struggling, you might have access to mental health services through your school's health center. So definitely check that out. I know when I was at Ohio State, they had like the Ohio State Student Health Services, SHS, I think it was called, Student Health Services or Student Health Center. You can just walk in. Like, even if your insurance doesn't cover it, you could at least walk in that building, tell somebody, I need help, I need to talk to someone, and they can help you go from there. I think it's the most important thing in any of this is just talking to one person and saying, I need help, right? It's to not keep it in. So you can try searching your school's website for mental health resources. You can also just go to the service center and see what they can do. And the last one on the resources list here is employee assistance. So if you have a job, you can actually ask your employer's human resource department if they have an EAP, employee assistance program. And an EAP is a free and confidential service that your company would pay for. And the service can help employees with issues related to mental health, drug or alcohol use, grief, and trauma. So that's kind of a wrap up of everywhere. But the one thing I did want to say regarding all of these resources and everything we've talked about today is just reach out. Like I was saying, talk to a friend, talk to a family member, or if you can't think of anyone close to you that you think would care or will listen to you or will help you, you can talk to us. You can literally always reach out to us on Instagram, send us an Instagram DM, email us, whatever. Those are the best ways to reach us. And we're like happy to chat with you guys anytime. We love that you guys listen to our episodes and it's so sweet. And so it's like, if we can help you, that would be really awesome. So reach out and talk to someone. Start with, I need to talk to someone. I need help. Yeah. Because I think that's the first step and the hardest one. I hate to say it. It's the hardest one, but if you can get past the I need help and getting someone else involved, I think, you can get through it. So that's sad. And it's kind of a heavy episode. It's kind of a sad episode, if you will. But I'm excited that we got it done. We got it done in 46 minutes. So that's really good. I didn't want this to be like dragging on and on like I'm at school. Yeah. But I thought it was important to talk about because it's something that I for sure experienced. Like I said, my therapist was like, you have some extra sessions because she was on maternity leave. And so I got these credits like building up. She's like, I think you need to double up in the winter. It's going to get bad soon. And I was like, yeah, I know. She's like, nice, you know me too well. Yeah. So she always helps me out and we keep it rolling, keeping it together for the holidays. That's the hardest part for me. But yeah, that was sad. Yeah. That's a wrap. That's a sad, but let's be happy. Yes. Let's try.
We're going to try our best to be happy.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts? I'm really glad that we got to like get into the specifics a little bit of winter versus summer onset. I think that's helpful. Yeah.
And I think it's like important to destigmatize it because like a lot of times like things like this are stigmatized. Like it's like, oh, you get sad in the winter. Like what's wrong with you? But it's important to know like, obviously there's these resources out there. So you are not the only person that ever feels like this. And even if you're like in the summer sad like me, like I honestly don't even know if I have it or if it's just like I have a longing for winter months instead. But it's like at least that like that is something like I didn't even know that when Erica brought this up that there was going to be talk about summer onset.
It's never talked about when people bring up seasonal depression. I feel like no one ever brings up the summer, and that's real. I mean, even Angela, I'm not going to like say he's diagnosed with anything, and he wouldn't even say that either, but like I do see the opposite effects of the seasons on my life in his. So I'm like, why are we not talking about that too?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
But
I wish there was more research on it, but
it's very important to talk about it. And there can only be research if you speak up.
Yep. I was just going to say that exactly. It's like if no one comes forward and says like, I feel so depressed in the summer. And if you do, like, that's valid. That's important to talk about. And if there's no one saying that, then they're not going to research it, right? Because they don't know it's there. So absolutely get help if you need it. If you want it, you also don't have to think you have seasonal depression to start talking to a therapist. Like, it's totally fine to just start. It's nice sometimes to just like have someone that's kind of on the outside that can tell me if I'm sane or if I'm not being
or if
sane,
I'm not.
you know, if I'm being reasonable or if I'm being unreasonable. People in your life might have that bias, and the therapist really tries to have your best interest and come from an unbiased approach, which is nice. So you don't have to be sad to see a therapist, straight up. So, all right, well, I guess we can wrap it up. I'm really glad you guys listened. I'm glad we were able to do another mental health episode. I can't remember what we did before, but I'm sure we did something because I remember doing it.
There had to have been. I just
you guys can let us know.
Remember right now.
I guess the poll today, I mean, this is kind of a sad poll, but if you feel like voting in the poll today on Spotify, swipe up, and I'll put in there, like, have you ever felt effects of summer onset sad, winter onset sad, or maybe neither, or maybe something different. So vote in that if you feel comfortable. You don't have to. No pressure.
No pressure.
But yeah, if you guys feel like you need help and you need someone to reach out to and you don't feel like you have anyone, you have us, and we will always, we will not be sharing your information with,
never.
anyone or each other. Like, it's me and Marissa on our accounts. We don't have help, sadly. We don't have a team. Like, this is the whole team. So it will only be us reading that if you send it. And, we're here to help you guys. So yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up. We will see you soon with a new guest episode when you're going to meet Taylor. Very exciting. She has a lot of really cool stories to share. So I'm pumped. And that's it. Follow us to stay up to date. Instagram is @WeRunOnCoffee. And because I told you guys you could email us as well, I will say here that our email is werunoncoffeepodcast@gmail.com. So you can send an email to that literally anytime. I'm always looking at it. Yeah, that's it. So exciting. So with that, I'm Erica.
And I'm Marissa. And we run on coffee. Bye.